Hey folks, this is BestInSlot with a very quick update for Jurassic World Evolution 2. The first things first, we have a brand new screenshot. That's really all we're taking a look at today, but there's some pretty cool stuff in here. Now, it's worth mentioning this screenshot is basically advertising something from tomorrow. That's Dev Diary 3, creating your own Jurassic World. That starts, as you can see in that very legible text down there at the bottom, at 3 PM BST. That's British Standard Time. And that is on Wednesday, the 27th of October, tomorrow from this video. Now, so, we'll be live streaming that right here on the channel. Come by and check that out. We'll be reacting to it, talking about it as we go. However, I'm likely to not have the time to analyze the screenshot itself during the video because we'll be talking about the video. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things today that we can then sort of pass over tomorrow. And that is what we're going to do by taking a look at this brand new screenshot of this lovely Jurassic World. So we've got what seems to be a temperate map. And the first thing to point out really is the ginormity, that is a proper word, look it up, the ginormity of the map we're looking at right here. It's a coastal map, it's down here right by the beach. We've got the rocks over here, blah, 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 blah. It's kind of like, it's a little bit like Dover, actually, in a lot of ways. But the map is gigantic. Even if you cut it off here, this would be a fairly huge map, given the size of the aviary. There's the innovation centre way off in the distance. And, but you can see, way down here, look, big gaggle of hotels, and these are not small buildings, these are fairly gigantic buildings. And if we bring up this right hand side, you can see the fence here. This is right at the edge of the map. You can see the fence carries on over this way. This right here, I would suggest, is the biggest map we've ever seen for Jurassic World Evolution. Unmodded, of course. It's huge, it really is. From there all the way down to, there's buildings over here as well, underneath the text. There's something over there. This whole area, massive. One of the things people really wanted in this game was bigger maps, and I think they have said publicly that we're going to get bigger maps. That definitely seems to be the case. There's a few other things I want to point out along the way though. First of all, this aviary is nonsense. This is by far the biggest aviary we've ever seen. And it does confirm we can indeed make donut aviaries. There's no bit in the middle there. That should be, in theory, grass or, whatever they've put there. But you should be able to see right down to the earth below. And this isn't just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something like that in a circle. Every single one of these lines you can see here is an aviary. So there's, how many is this? This is a lot. Probably 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17, something like that. 16, 17, 18 maybe different aviaries all stuck together. It is gigantic. You can actually see inside. It's got like a river going all the way around as well. Tons of rocks. It's a full-on environment. It's actually a really interesting idea. Think about it. Instead of having an aviary to display a certain pterosaur, you instead make a world within the world, and the world is the aviary. It just happens to be contained within a glass dome. It's kind of like the dome. It's really interesting anyway. It's cool to see that we can make aviaries that are this gigantic, so that's going to be really interesting. People have suggested that this is hinting at, particular large pterosaurs, as Darkids, basically. We do expect or hope for Quetzalcoatlus to make it into the game. Probably not at launch, but given Dominion, blah, 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 hopefully sometime in the future. So it does make sense that aviaries can be fairly gigantic, because they're going to have to eventually, hopefully, accommodate some fairly gigantic pterosaurs. Moving on anyway, not here to waste all your time. We'll talk about this next. So this is another thing I spotted. There's really not much in the way of new things on this map right here. I don't see any dinosaurs. We've got some brachiosaurs down here at the bottom. These are triceratops by the looks of it over in this habitat over here. We'll find out for sure tomorrow. I couldn't see much in the way of new buildings, but I just had a little zoom in on this bit over here, and it looks like this. Nope, that's an aviary. It looks like this. And you can see there's the Triceratops, There's some rocks and stuff. What's thrown me a little bit is this shape in the middle. I'm not sure is that just a weird looking rock? It would be a very unusual shape. It would be an unusual shape for just about anything. I thought maybe we're going to get a placeable log decoration sort of thing. That's something that people have been crying out for. Frontier, if you're watching, hint hint, people would love a big log, basically. Treat it the same as the rocks, put it down and let you rotate it around, stuff like that. I think it is probably just an awkwardly shaped rock more than anything else, but I thought that was interesting and something to keep an eye on. It's huge as well. Look at the size of it compared to the Triceratops. Keep in mind that's further back as well. It's gigantic. It's probably a rock, I just thought I'd point it out. The last thing though, maybe the most exciting, up there with the mammoth, Cenozoic pun, up there with the mammoth size of the maps, is this right here. And that is that we can build right down to the beach. We can build to the edge of the map, something we can never do in the past. If you think back to Isla Muerta in Jurassic World Evolution, there was this big stretch of beach, but you couldn't really get that far down it. You weren't allowed to go to the edge of the waterline or really anywhere near it. But if we look here towards the seascape, you can see that there's a lagoon here with shark feeder, and the lagoon, hopefully, because there's a lagoon, we're going to find out what that mystery mosasaur is tomorrow. Money's still on Tylosaurus, but we'll see. First of all, I want to point out people are building over here as well. It's just, again, gigantic. But the edge of the lagoon is really close to the waterline. It's super close. It really is. It's like a few paths in terms of width. It's right down there. They're letting us use the entirety of the map for the first time, which is really exciting. So not only are the maps humongous, even if you cut out the beach, I would suggest this would be a fairly big map, but they're stretching it even further. Now we've seen that you're not necessarily going to have access to all of that from the get-go. Map expansions are going to be a research item in Evolution 2, but yeah, really exciting. Massive maps right to the edge. New stuff, looking good, massive aviaries, everything's massive, everything's huge. We're in Texas, everything's bigger in Texas. Look, there's buildings over here as well. I think that is the edge right there, basically. Like, right there is the edge of the map, something like that. Look at that space, that's going to be awesome. Cannot wait. Yeah, so people might find this a bit... People always say this, you know, I'm just analysing a screenshot at the end of the day. But it's what we do here on the channel, right? It's fun. I think some people appreciate it. Where? What I was going to say then, 3 PM tomorrow, come by. We will live stream it right here. We'll restream it and we'll chat about it and talk about what we find out about in Dev Diary 3. Dev Diaries tend to be really good, so hopefully a new species or two in there. And if not, some new building information, blah, 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 blah. We'll ignore most of what we've talked about today in tomorrow's video. It's nice to get some deep analysis on a single screenshot. Well, I think it is anyway. I feel like I'm in CSI. That's it from me. Thank you very much for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. The video is going to be just over 8 minutes. I promise that wasn't on purpose. Thanks for joining me. Cheers much as always. Bye-bye.
Reaching out.